When it comes to branding, companies can fire a founder, but they can't fire a brand. And branding is really just giving commodities a voice. It's giving that business a personality, characteristics, things people can identify with on a personal level. Branding can be done differently. You can choose to take a name like Apple, Amazon, IBM, Microsoft, and turn that into a brand, or you could take a more personal branding style like Orville Redenbacher. He literally has his face on the front of the popcorn box, or KFC, or even a different style like Dave with Wendy's, or Martha Stewart with her products. So how you do branding can be a little bit different. What I want to do today is just give a quick overview of branding in general. Once you've decided if you're taking a more personal branding style with your business or trying to take a name and turn that into a brand that's personable, then you can start getting into, okay, now what do I need to do to make sure people connect with my brand on an emotional level? A brand is really what consumers think when they hear your name or see your logo. That's your brand. What are people thinking, or how do they feel when they hear about our company? As we all know, the best brands don't always make the best products. Look at McDonald's. Do they serve the best hamburger? Not really. Does Taco Bell make the best tacos? Does Hardee's make the best burger? Does Dunkin' Donuts serve the best coffee? And you could go on and on and on, from clothes to shoes to cars, whatever you want it to be. But the branding does not necessarily mean they're the best. What you have to remember is that branding elicits an emotion or a feeling, or they're trying to convey a specific feeling or thought to their customers. So when you think Honda, you think durability. When you think Apple, you think innovation. When you think Jimmy John's, it's sandwiches, but what do you think? Speed. So when it comes to your brand, what message are you trying to send to your clients or to your customers? Based on the examples I just gave you, what do they have in common? Think about it. The very first thing is their unique selling position, or USP. So you need to understand, okay, what's unique about my business that separates me from everyone else? What am I going to try and tell people about my business? Are we fast? Are we the best? Are we the cheapest? Are we the most innovative? Do we have empathy? Is our customer service really good? Think of that unique selling position when you are putting together your brand. Secondly, you need to state what you sell. So what are you about and what do you sell? Is it cars, clothes, services, products? What do you sell? You could say this another way. You could say your brand is really stating why you do what you do and what you do, your USP and what you sell. At the end of the day, you're trying to tell customers, hey, here's why you should bother with our business. Another key way you can put together your brand is you need to understand who you are. Why does your business exist? This is why with my company Orion's Guard, we always start with a brand story. So the founder or whoever's the head of the company needs to understand, hey, here's why we exist in the first place. This is the problem we're trying to solve in the world. That's your why. That's who you are. That's your lifeblood. Now what you need to do is try to get that message in front of people so you can connect with others who share your same mentality. Once you understand who you are, you need to understand where you are. Are you a startup? Have you been around 30 years? Have you been around 100 years? So where are you? It could even be location-wise. We're in North Carolina and we're young. So where are you? Once you understand who you are, you need to understand where you are. Are you a startup? Have you been around 30 years? Have you been around 100 years? So where are you? It could even be location-wise. We're in North Carolina and we're young. So where are you? Another example of where you are, take E-Trade for example. They came along and put power into regular investors' hands by having their own platform and letting investors make trades for themselves, completely changing the game. So they understood where they were when they got started. They didn't have a lot of money. They understood they were in a bad position to start getting attacked by the industry for doing something very new, innovative, and different. So they knew what position they were in. They knew where they were. They were young. They were starting out. They didn't have much money. They understood that. But at the end of the day, they knew who they were. And they played to both traits in order to get their brand in front of people. And they still use that today. They still market themselves as an innovative, forward-thinking company. They know who they are, and now today when they push it, not only do they say that message, but then they start spewing the amount of trades they've done, how many billions of dollars they've moved in money, and how long they've been around. So now they really know where they are. Another thing when it comes to branding that you need to think about is your consumer, or your customer, or your client. What matters to them? What matters to them the most? And once you know that, is it money? Is it quality? Is it, again, speed? Once you understand that, you need to know what message resonates with them. What message are you going to send them? And what message will they accept? You need to know communication is only useful for how it's implied. Or, let me put this another way. Your intent doesn't matter when it comes to messaging. Yes, your intent should matter when you're coming up with the messaging, but at the end of the day, how someone accepts your message is what really matters. If you're putting out there, hey, we have the lowest prices in the market, but if people accept that as, oh, that means you have the crappiest services, thank you for telling me ahead of time, then that's not what you want regardless of your intent. So you need to work on your message to say, okay, here's what we're putting out, here's what we're putting out into the world. What do people really want, and what message are they receiving? Do they coincide? So you need to really understand that when you're thinking about branding. Additionally, when it comes to messaging, what speaks to people? What are they going to listen to? Is it something that's funny? Is it something that's serious? Take John Hancock. They're an insurance company out of Boston. They played on empathy. They said to people, hey, we know things are changing. We understand what you're going through, and we're going to be there for you. Why? Because we're like you. We understand where you're at. And that message really resonated with people. It stuck because they knew what people really wanted. People don't want insurance. Let's just get that out of our heads. People don't really want insurance. They don't really want to pay for insurance. Yeah, it's nice to feel protected, but at the end of the day, what some people want is they want someone else that understands and knows that, if somebody passes or if there's a car accident, I want to be with someone who feels for me. I want someone to understand and who is there to hold my hand and help me, not someone who's going to get me the best deal on my insurance that may or may not meet my needs. They wanted someone that cared. And John Hancock went all the way down into the emotion, into the feeling of people, and that's what helped them in their marketing to be so successful where they are today. With all the tactics involved in branding, the number one thing I can tell you through all the planning, through all your messages, is that you have to be genuine. People have to believe what you're saying is true, or else they won't trust you and they won't do business with you. So you need understanding of your customers and understanding of your own brand. So I really want you to take all of these tips, this quick overview of branding, and try to implement them into your own business, or if you haven't started, write them down